Hello everyone, Brian Wade here with Wadeverse Tabletop RPGs. I just want to thank you for viewing this very first video of this YouTube channel, and I look forward to doing quite a few more afterwards. You're probably wondering about this poster behind me. Well, this is actually the name of a Star Wars game that I will be beginning to post videos on this channel for, Star Wars Seeds of Rebellion. If you're interested in viewing those videos or curious on what that is, well, it is a D20 role-playing game that I'm going to be recording videos for on this channel. It's going to involve 6 players who will be taking the role of heroes in the Star Wars universe during the dark times. But I'll be posting some videos introducing each one of their characters and everything else at another time. But this video actually is going to be focusing on the tools I will be using for this game and for Star Wars games I've done in the past. And I think that, for people that are looking to do a Star Wars game in the D20 mechanics like they do with Dungeons and Dragons, I think this will be a really big help. This is actually a role-playing game system that actually is no longer in print. But I know you can still find the books online and on Amazon and everything else. It's the Star Wars Saga edition D20 rules and the D20 supplements that come with it. There are 12 books in total that were printed. Each book has its own unique information and unique parts of the Star Wars universe and eras that it focuses on. First thing that I would definitely recommend as a game master for the Star Wars Saga Edition RPG is this here. This is the official GM screen that, if I can get it open, has a very good plethora of information. As you can see here, each screen has information on it that'll actually be a very big help for running this type of campaign with these rule sets. And it's kind of nice, pretty good stock. Like I said, I've had these for a couple years, so as you can see, it's held up through test of time. And of course, like they have on the other ones, for other games, it has nice pictures for the players to look at. But this has definitely been a lifesaver for me. I highly recommend it. You should be able to, like I said, find it on Amazon or trollandtoad.com or even Miniature Marketplace maybe. But I definitely recommend this as a very useful tool for GMing Star Wars Saga Edition role-playing games. Definitely another important piece to have. Mine's very beat up because it has had years of use. But the Star Wars role-playing game Saga Edition Core Rulebook. All these products were made from Wizards of the Coast. If you go to www.wizards.com/Star Wars, you can get information on that. Maybe even buy some stuff on there. I don't know if they actually have it. But, these are really good for people looking to do some of the older systems. I know they already have games out there for Star Wars role-playing, Edge of Empire, and a couple other things that use those fancy dice with the symbols on them and everything. They're good systems. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dogging them at all. But they're, if you're a player who's used to rolling D20 dice, it could be kind of a culture shock. And there's all kinds of rules and everything with the dice, and the mechanics are all different. Like I said, if that's your thing, hey, then, to each his own. Me personally, though, I like D20 based systems. So if you're looking to run a D20 Star Wars campaign without having to go up through the rigmarole of trying to, create rules or take D&D books and try and convert them and anything like that, these are honestly the best ones. And what's great is the Saga edition of these games actually have all 6 movies plus the now Legends universe. They have stats for all the people and places and planets from what used to be canon is now Legends. So if you're a Legends fan like I am, I would definitely recommend these books as well. First book here is obviously the core rule book. This gives you all the bases for what you need, all your classes, all your prestige classes, all your feats and talents, and everything to get a game started. So if you can only afford one book, I would definitely recommend this one to start off. It's kind of nice. It's got it's got the page here where you can actually print the Star Wars player sheet, both front and back there. It's also got a nice archetypes for enemies and whatnot. Especially if you're wanting to go against the Empire, you can see there you got the basic stormtroopers, and also they have the actual like fringe, for your basic civilians or random aliens walking by, smugglers, criminals. What's really nice though is they actually have a section here for the main characters of Star Wars. So like if you want to run a campaign where they run into the main characters a lot, I know I do every once in a while. My very first game I ever, well, probably the best game, I wouldn't say the first, but the very best game I ever did was a Clone Wars campaign where my players took roles of not of main characters of the Star Wars universe, but of side characters. And I did a really cool thing where they did missions for the Republic, but kind of behind the scenes. So, like if Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker had their clone trooper battalions and they're trying to, barrage this separatist controlled city because they have a shield generator over the city, they would be the ones sneaking into the city, disabling the shield's generator so that Obi-Wan and Anakin's forces could invade the city. And as Obi-Wan and Anakin are, all the cameras and scopes are on them as they invade the city, their team has, just got done disabling those shields and are already flying off to their next mission while Obi-Wan and Anakin go and do the main battle. So I thought it was really good. That game ran for about 5 years. And we actually got all the way through the Clone Wars with Order 66 and everything else. But yeah, so looking here, so you can see they got really nice pictures of Obi-Wan and Padme. They got just about everybody, and they have all the stats. As you can see, they have most of the stats are at their, what they would consider their prime. So like the stats for Obi-Wan would be when he was as of episode 3. It's probably reversed for you right now, but that's all right. But yeah, they have Obi-Wan. Obviously Darth Vader for when you want to face him, which highly don't recommend that until you're high enough level. But Leia, Han Solo, supporting characters: Chewbacca, R2D2, C3PO, the Emperor. Everybody. So this is definitely a good start, a good book to have, just to get the basics out of the way. Another book that I highly recommend that would definitely help as a GM or game master. Now this is a book. Real quick, I would definitely recommend for players and game masters. There is a section for GMing in here that kind of helps you with the basics of running a campaign. But this I recommend for players and game masters. Now the rest of these books I would recommend for game masters. They're not required to play a tabletop RPG for Star Wars, but I definitely recommend them because they make it very, very, very easy. Also more fun because honestly, these books give you a lot of cool ideas. There's a lot of generators and charts in them. So you can make up your own universe, your own planets, your own societies. It's really cool. I've done a lot of stuff with it. But anyway, the second book I would recommend, again, if you have a limited budget, completely understand it. I've been there. I remember my very first Star Wars, or actually Star Wars was my very first role-playing game I ever rolled. We didn't even have dice. We used quarters. Heads was a success, tails was a fail. So you can imagine a bunch of yahoos sitting around a table with, spiral notebooks for player sheets and pencils and flipping quarters to see who gets attacked and who defends it. So it's pretty interesting. But the second book I would recommend for GMs is actually this one here. It's called Threats of the Galaxy. This book is literally nothing but stats for characters. Let's see if I can flip to the table of contents here. So the table of contents, you see there, it's got, again, it's reversed, so I do apologize, but it has everything that you could need, from force adepts to commandos to pilots to pirates to soldiers to spies, to traitors to politicians, all the different kinds of Jedi. This was a very helpful book for getting stats, and they all range from level 20 to level 1 characters, which is really nice. They also have a nice little section for creatures, so if you are doing like a campaign in the wilderness and you need some Star Wars-esque creatures for them to encounter, they have some pretty good selections here. Droids, if you're someone who wants to get into the droid portion, they definitely have a section for droids here as well. So this is definitely a very good book. Again, this is Star Wars Threats of the Galaxy. It says here basically ready to use stats for more than 150 characters, droids, creatures, and vehicles. So these two books plus the GM screen would definitely be a good first step toward running a campaign. So that's what I definitely recommend for those. So real quick, I'll go over a couple more of these books here. And then if you want me to go into any more of the books in particular, feel free to comment on the comments below, and I can definitely do another video for that. Definitely subscribe and follow for the upcoming Star Wars Seeds of Rebellion. That'll be doing videos on that for the actual playing of that role-playing game. And definitely follow and subscribe to my channel, and I can definitely do more specific in-depths on these different books. But another book that I really enjoy, Jedi Academy Training Manual. This focuses more on the Force users and Jedi of the game. So if you have someone who wants to be a Jedi class, I definitely recommend this book here. That definitely gives them different types of lightsabers, expanded rules for lightsabers, creation, customization, descriptions of various Force-using traditions, information on famous Jedi and dangerous villains that threaten the Jedi Order, new talents, Force powers, and other options for Force-using heroes. What's really cool is, it's a little annoying, but I get it. Every single one of these books has new talents or new feats for the different classes of characters. So, like I said, there's only 12 books, so, some are harder to find than others, but if you can, they're also available on PDFs. That's the great thing, too. You can find all this stuff nowadays on digits. I have quite a few backups myself, because if these books were ever to be destroyed, I don't think I'd be able to afford to get replacements. So I definitely, if you can find the PDFs online, I highly recommend downloading them. They're really good, especially because a lot of the PDFs will have preset bookmarks. You can just click on the bookmark tab, click on a section, and it takes you right there. So it's pretty awesome. Next one here is the Unknown Regions. This is actually the second to last book that they released before the license had expired. This is really good for information on never-before-seen planets, details on threats lurking in the unknown regions. Again, more new talents, feats, and weapons and equipments for scouts and explorers. New and expanded area rules for hazards. This is really nice for hazards. Also, it has a really cool planet generator on here. So, like, if you wanted to run a campaign where, you wanted to do something completely outside of the norm, where you wanted to have them be like explorers, where they're exploring new and crazy stuff that's never been seen before, then this is definitely a book I recommend, because this allows you to create an entire campaign where they can just venture into the unknown regions and, not to take from another genre and put it in this one, but to boldly go where no one has gone before. So that's a good book there. This book here, the Rebellion Era Campaign. This is a good book for your standard campaigns where it's the Rebel Alliance against the Galactic Empire. It's great for a background system, a detailed description of the Rebel Alliance, and new threats and enemies for use in Rebellion era adventures. So when they talk about the background system, it kind of allows you to do a more detailed background of your character. You know, what is it that brought these people together to fight together from these seemingly unlikely backgrounds? You know, a very good example, you know, Han Solo. You know, he's a smuggler. He didn't care about anybody but himself, but somehow, you know, certain events happen, certain things happen, and then he was a general for the Rebel Alliance. So, for this, definitely recommend this book for the Galactic Civil War era. If you're interested in doing more of a campaign where I call it the Firefly campaign, where you guys are not involved in the Rebel Alliance or the Galactic Empire, you're just trying to make your way in the universe, as the great Jango Fett once said, I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe. I would recommend the Scum and Villainy. This is a great book that will allow you to do an extensive gear modification system, information on running campaigns on the fringes of the galaxy, and a complete campaign locale and full-length adventure that's actually in this book. You know, this is for the scoundrel class, you know, for the mercenaries, you know, just for running a campaign where you don't want to get involved in the galaxy stuff at large. You kind of want to get into the more noir / criminal / crime syndicate stuff. Definitely a good book for that. So definitely I recommend that. Now this book here, this is one of my personal favorites, and this is the one, again, my favorite era, the Clone Wars campaign guide. This book is awesome. Like, I honestly say, again, one of my favorites in all 12 of the books. It introduces rules for followers, allowing heroes to take command. They have an awesome mass battle system where if you want to do like full-scale war battles, it allows you, there's a system that allows you to go through them quickly so you're not rolling for every single mini that's on the map. For the Jedi class, for those that want to take a Padawan learner, they got a really cool system in there for that. And a mass combat system that, you know, again, I go back to the mass combat system because honestly, before reading this book, I had such a rough time running mass battles because it would just take forever. And after reading this book, you know, it streamlined the whole process and made it a lot of fun for not only myself, but for my players as well. So new talents, feats, prestige classes, equipment, and other options for heroes. From what I understand, it even allows you to play a clone if you want. So again, highly recommend that for the Clone Wars era people. This book here, you'll probably recognize this from the popular video game, Force Unleashed. They actually did release a book for it, which is really awesome. This is for kind of the campaign that's going to be Seeds of Rebellion. It takes place during the dark times where you know, as a Jedi, you're running from the Empire, trying to hide. If you're, you know, trying to build the rebellion, or you know, or even playing as the Galactic Empire, you're trying to cement your hold in the galaxy. You know, it's got exclusive content based on the Force Unleashed game, which is really awesome. Both characters, unleashed powers, and the complete campaign setting for the time between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. It's got a detailed look at the Galactic Empire, its minions, and its technology, and new character options that expand and intensify how the Force can be used. So definitely for the Force users during the Galactic dark times, highly recommend this. All right, so in Star Wars, there's a lot of war usually going on. There's very little peacetime in between. So with that being said, they actually released an awesome book that if you want to get into more of the nitty-gritty details of a military lifestyle, they released what's called A Galaxy at War. It's basically got exclusive information on new material from the Clone Wars television series, which is really awesome. If you guys haven't watched the Clone Wars animated series, highly recommend it. Really awesome. In fact, it actually inspired me to want to run a Clone Wars campaign after watching the Clone Wars movie that came out for that. It's also got guidelines for running military campaigns, rules for designing bases and battle stations for your heroes to raid or defend, and it's also got a full-length adventure in there as well. So, I honestly, combining this with the Clone Wars campaign guide, what made my Clone Wars campaign outstanding. I was able to create different clone units, what their designations were. They have a complete listing of all ranks and insignias and what their jobs are and everything else. So definitely highly recommend this. So this book here is one that is, you kind of have to read the comic series in order to really understand the characters and everything in this book. But this one here is called the Legacy Era. This is actually set, I want to say, 137 years after the Battle of Yavin. So Luke Skywalker, Leia, Han Solo, they're already all dead and gone. And I believe it's their great-great-grandchildren who have now, taken up the mantle of fighting against evil. They got rules for creating legacy characters, information for running campaigns set in the Legacy Era, characters, starships, and technology from the Legacy comic series. So if you don't know who any of these people are, I definitely recommend you getting the Star Wars Legacy comic book storyline. I thought it was really cool. Again, it's considered Legends now, but I think it was a really great Legacy era campaign. So for those of you that want to run a Legacy era campaign, definitely recommend this book here. It's just, it's cool. I tried it, and there's definitely a lot going on during this time in the Star Wars universe. I think you got like 4 or 5 factions fighting one another at once, so definitely a lot to work with here. So I definitely recommend that. Now, the more popular era, which actually has spawned, I believe, 2 video games, both, and a MMORPG, Knights of the Old Republic era. Obviously, they're going to create a book for this. So I thought that was pretty neat that they did that. Actually, I think this one, honestly, is probably the most expensive one. For some reason, this guy here, Darth Revan, Basilishan, I mean, I don't know what it is, but man, those characters, popularity, even the Darth Revan miniature that Wizards of the Coast released that I have is actually worth a few $100s, and it's crazy how much that a miniature like that could be just from one Sith Lord. I mean, such a popular Sith and everything else. But yeah, this book here, what's really cool is that it covers not only the Tales of the Jedi comics, but also the Knights of the Old Republic comics and video games as well. So anything that you saw in the old Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, so both 1 and 2, are covered in this book. So all the Sith, all the allies, all the different areas, the cities, species, everything else is covered in here from those games. Detailed examination of the Mandalorians, the Sith, and the Jedi, and the Old Republic. So if you're wanting to run a Mandalorian-based campaign, I recommend this to give you a little bit more insight on the Mandalorians in their culture. But yeah, so I mean, it's really nice. You compare it with this. What's really cool about these books too, especially having Legacy, Knights of the Old Republic, and Galactic Civil War, is maybe do a time traveling game. Maybe you're spanning all across these eras. I mean, I thought that'd be kind of neat. I'm not brave enough to tackle something like that yet, but I definitely, for those running specific campaigns, if you want to do a Jedi Sith War, Knights of the Republic would be a good book for you to have. And then this is the last book that we have. This is actually the last book that was actually released for Wizards of the Coast before their license expired with LucasArts. I've done some reading through it. I'm still trying to read through it some more. But this is actually kind of neat. It's called A Star Wars Galaxy of Intrigue. It's basically a complete rule set for skill challenges, guidelines for running campaigns full of intrigue, an all new planet that boils over with secrecy and mystery, and plus new campaign content, including a full length adventure. So if you are the kind of, I guess, GM who likes to run campaigns that have a lot of plot twists and secret, oh no, all crazy factors. M. Night Shyamalan twists, as I like to call them. Galaxy of Intrigue is a good one because it deals with being able to, do campaigns that have that mystery where as one layer of the plot is revealed, so are three more mysteries whose true meanings have yet to be discovered. So for those kind of players, I definitely recommend this book. But yeah, I mean, those are all the books. Again, there's 12 of them in total, and there is a book for each person. Person's kind of way they like to play. There are other tools that I would recommend. Again, I'm the kind of person that, coming from someone who literally rolled quarters for dice and is now using miniatures and maps and books. I definitely, if you're going to run a campaign, I highly recommend that you go all out because the more that you have to offer in your game and the better tools that you have to offer in your game, the more likely your players are going to want to stick around. That's why I have players who've been playing with me for almost 15 years. I've been running games for 15 years, and I have players who've been with me for 11 of them, and that's only because, the previous 4 years, I didn't even know who they were. But, yeah, so that is Wizards of the Coast did the books again and all the miniatures. They had quite a few sets of miniatures that came out. I was lucky enough to start collecting them when they were first released, so I have them all still. I got a couple on my table here. I'll give you some examples. So you have like your standard clone trooper or stormtrooper. One little tip I like to do is if you are running a campaign that utilizes troopers, these are obviously from my Clone Wars campaign, but they have such a striking resemblance to stormtroopers that instead of spending all kinds of money getting stormtroopers for the Galactic's Empire era, I just stuck to clone troopers. And being that the game is going to be in a completely alternate timeline, just say that the Empire never stopped using clone troopers. Very easy way to save a lot of money, especially because I literally have garrisons of these for my Clone Wars campaign. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty nicely detailed, for being, the time that they came out when miniature detailing wasn't all that great. You have your troopers here. You've got like your Imperial naval officers like there. Let's see if I can, do I have a Jedi over there? Yeah, I do. Let me see. So yeah, so like things like Jedi and whatnot. This is Ashrad Het that one of my players is currently using. But yeah, I mean, really good details. A little hard to find nowadays. But if you can find them, especially if you can find them at a good price, definitely grab them because they'll definitely be, to my knowledge, other than I know that they released some Star Wars like Rebel Assault games and stuff like that, but no real other system has a more a D20 based miniature set like these do. They haven't released anything like that yet. And if you want to expand a little bit more, I highly recommend the X-Wing Starship game. That's really nice because I actually collect those as well, and I've actually been able to kind of integrate X-Wing rules in with the Star Wars rules because the space battles in this are okay, but I like more fast, streamlined space battles. So, and you know what? And it just dawned on me. I apologize. There is actually 14 books. Two of the books I actually don't have physical copies of, but they are I want to say they're called Scavenger's Guide to Droids. Basically, it's a book that focuses on basically anything droid, from protocol to battle to industrial droids. So if you're someone that wants to really play droids, you can really get into the droid-like system, I recommend that. And then a book that I actually have not been able to find, and I'm regretting not getting it when I did, was Starships of the Galaxy. Now I have them on digits, so I can have access to them that way. But Starships of the Galaxy is another good one. Basically, it's all starships, from fighters to bulk cruisers, and all like the hyperdrive systems and rules about that, and all the charts and things for mishaps and system damages and stuff like that. So if you want to run a more starship based campaign, like where you guys are playing as pilots, I recommend those books as well. So let's see, is there anything else? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I know they do. I know they do. They did print out maps for these. Trying to find the maps is pretty hard to do, but again, I would suggest like Reddit and stuff like that. Quite a few. In fact, here I can give you an idea. So yeah, there's the Millennium Falcon up there that the players use for their home base. But all these maps that I have kind of in a holder right there, I was able to get laminated and created. Again, I can, if you want to comment below if you want to see any more maps in detail, or if you would like me to go into detail any more on these books, feel free to again, comment below, let me know. Follow and subscribe to my channel. I know I probably said that already, but just want to reiterate to do that. And stay tuned for Star Wars Seeds of Rebellion, excuse me. And yeah, it's going to be a great adventure, and I hope you guys are able to follow along with that. I'm also going to be releasing some videos eventually on my other campaigns. I run a D20 Marvel campaign that's actually gotten a lot of hype in the convention arena. And I will actually be doing a video on how you can do a very awesome D20 Marvel game in a travel form, so that you can travel wherever you need to travel and have a great game for tabletop departments. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. And yeah, I'll be releasing more videos later on different board games and different aspects of D20 Marvel, Star Wars, and other games that I'm going to be playing here pretty soon, or hosting rather. I know we have a Ghostbusters RPG that'll be released pretty soon. But yeah, so we will catch you then. And yeah, this is my first video, so I know it's probably going to suck, but that's all right. From what I understand from all the videos, you got to start somewhere. So again, I want to thank you for joining me on this video, the very first video for the Wadeverse Tabletop RPGs channel, and I hope you will continue to join me as we do more. So until then, may the Force be with you always, and have a great day.